Fernando Tatis Jr., Calvin Biggio, Timmy Anderson, Tommy Edman, Garrett Hampson. And so if they play regular roles, and we expect them to, if they play full seasons, then you're looking at maybe a couple dozen guys, 24, who are major contributors to the stolen base category. But let's break it down even more minuscule than that. How many of these players are helping you in other categories other than just stolen bases? Well, certainly Acuna and Yelich and Lindor and Turner and Story, there's 5. Ramirez and Marte, there's 7. Merrifield, 8. Villar, probably 9. Pham and Robles and Mondesi with the triples, maybe that's 11. Santana, if he plays for Texas, 12. And Elvis Andrus would be 13. But beyond that, on the list from last year of the 19, Malik Smith, D. Gordon, Colton Wong, and Manny Margot, they're not giving you very much other than stolen base. They're not helping you in the average category. They're certainly not hitting a bunch of home runs. They're not driving in a bunch of runs. So of last year's 19, only 15 really can help you in another category other than stolen base. Now I get, granted, again I said Tatis, Biggio, Anderson, and Edman and Hampson may do that this year. But even with those, if they do, you're at 20. 20 players in Major League Baseball with the stolen base category who have the potential to help you in at least one other category. So what I'm getting at is, when you look at the pitchers and you look at the stolen base players, if you think an ace is just going to land in your lap, yeah, you're going to win Fool of the Year. And more than that, if you think a stolen base king is going to land in your lap, well, another Fool of the Year award, right? You're just not going to get that ace pitcher or that stolen base leader. Now remember my rankings on starting pitchers. And let's just look at tiers 1 and 2. This is my rankings. I get it. We might expand it a little and go into tier 3. But we had Garrett Cole, Jacob deGrom, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, Walker Buehler, Jack Flaherty, Shane Bieber, Mike Clevenger, Blake Snell, Steven Strasburg, Charlie Morton. I'm into tier 3 almost now. Sale, Kershaw, Severino, Luis Castillo. I've just named 15 pitchers. Let's add Giolito. Add 4 more of your choice. And of those 20, how many are true aces? I think your tier 1s are your true aces, and I don't have but 2 of those. And Walker Buehler's teetering. Here's where I'm going with the analysis. Are you ready? You can't afford to punt on an ace if they're available, and you can't afford to punt on someone who can help you in stolen bases, who can also contribute in other categories. Now, I'm not suggesting you go after stolen bases. Just the contrary. I'm suggesting if you need stolen bases, you need to try to find a player who can also hit for average, who can also hit some home runs, who can also score some runs, depending on your categories in your league. And there just aren't that many of them. So when I'm drafting this year and I'm looking at these statistics, to me, the hottest players in fantasy are the 3 pitchers I just named: deGrom, Buehler, and Cole. And I think they should go in the first round. Now, you're going to disagree with me. It's okay. I'm expecting all these chat room chats. It's okay. Fine. I'm giving you a perspective. That's what this network is about. Here at Lenny Melnick FantasySports.com, we are trying to give the listener different perspectives from different people who've done their research. And when some people zig, others zag. And here's a way to zag. And here's not only a way to zag, here's a reason why you should consider doing it. So take those 3: deGrom, Cole, and Walker Buehler. Now let's look at those stolen base guys I was just talking about that do more than just one thing. Acuna, Yelich, Lindor. Trevor Story to a degree, and Jose Ramirez, but I'm not big on Ramirez's Story there because, But I am big on Acuna, I am big on Yelich, and I am big on Lindor. Now, of course, you've got Trout, who is Trout, and you've got Bellinger, who is Bellinger, and you've got Betts, who is Betts. So right there, I've given you my top 10 fantasy players. Hope you were listening. And 3 of them are pitchers. Now, the order that you draft these players in is totally up to you. I will argue there's not a big difference in drafting Garrett Cole based on last year numbers and drafting Mike Trout or Acuna Jr. Now, you can say, well, Arnie, in 2020, what if Cole gets hurt? Well, what if Trout gets hurt? Well, in 2020, what if Buehler doesn't? Well, what if Acuna doesn't? You can what if it to death. I'm just saying, Acuna, Yelich, Lindor, Turner, Story, Bellinger, Betts, Trout, Buehler, Cole, DeGrom. There's 11 players. I think Story probably take him out of that group. But there's 10 I've given you that I have at the top of the heap because they give you different categories. I like to pick in the first round hitters who give me all categories. That includes stolen bases. And once those 10 players are gone, they are gone. You're not going to get but one shot at Frankie Lindor. I know shortstop is probably a deep position. But how many shortstops do and provide the numbers Frankie Lindor? I know there are a ton of outfielders. But how many outfielders give you the stolen base that Yelich potentially can do? I know he's coming off an injury, but Acuna certainly can steal 30. Acuna could be a 40-40 guy. And I think he has that real true potential to do it this year. I think Acuna should be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And second, I'm hinging on should it be a pitcher, Buehler, DeGrom, Cole, or should it be Mike Trout? And again, chat room going crazy. Arnie's off his rocker. But I've done my research on it. I've looked at points per game. And when you average it out in 2019, when home runs were king, you don't get bigger in home runs than you did in 2019 fantasy baseball. Not in the history of fantasy baseball have there ever been more home runs hit in one season than last year. And by the way the graph points, it only appears to me that number will increase as time goes on. So I'm saying to you, I'm picking pitchers early. I'm getting those stud threes. And I'm going with those guys who contribute in the stolen base and other categories. I've given you my top 10. Make Trevor Story number 11. Rank them how you want to, but that's my top 10 for fantasy, other than relief pitchers. And that's going to be the next show. We're going to delve into relief pitchers really deep. And again, take what I'm saying and apply it to your league rules. And if my analysis today does not fit your league rules, I'm just giving you a points league perspective on how you can attack the draft in a different manner than maybe just picking the player that you think is the best hitter or gets the most home runs. I think it's a mistake to draft based on home run. Because again, 60 players, 61 exactly, can hit more than 30 home runs a year, just from last year numbers alone, not including rookies, not including comeback of the yearers. So look at these players who give you that balance. Look at these 3 aces. And I challenge you. Now you might say, well, Flaherty's as good as Buehler. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Flaherty had a great month of August. There's no doubt about it. But he doesn't have when I name those pitchers, at least I think the best pitcher in the National League is Buehler, and I think the best pitcher in the American League is Cole. I think they're the best two pitchers, and I think DeGrom just is a super talent, but he's not on a team that's going to score him a lot of runs. So where DeGrom fails behind the other two is in the potential for wins. It looks like the Dodgers and Yankees are loaded offensively. They're going to both score a lot of runs. And who benefits from that? Starting pitching. And the aces of both of those teams, Walker Buehler for the Dodgers, Garrett Cole for the Yankees. That's my breakdown. So, I hope that if you agree with me, you're not just agreeing because I said it. I hope you look at the analysis that I gave to that. It's a league-wide thing. It's a current events kind of thing. It's looking at these players, where they are in their career, what they've done last year and what they can project to do this year. And remember, Frankie Lindor and Yelich did not play full seasons last year. Both injured, one at the beginning of the year, one at the end. Put a full year on Yelich, put a full year on Frankie Lindor. Oh my gosh. Which makes why I think those three, Acuna, Yelich, and Lindor with the stolen base, power, RBI, average, and now they're saying Lindor might bat third. Add that to Bellinger, Trout, and Betts. To me, clearly your best six hitters. Food for thought from Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports. Everybody have a great day. I've enjoyed being with you this morning. Always do. I thought it'd be a little change of pace. Instead of just giving you stats, let's talk about a philosophy today. Talk about that philosophy of drafting. Why do you draft like you draft? And if you've not thought about it in these terms, think about it in these terms. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying it's something you should consider. There you go. Have a great day, everybody. Stay tuned into the network, the greatest fantasy network on the planet Earth, as Bugs Bunny might say. Lenny Melnick, FantasySports.com. Download, share it with your friends. Get them talking baseball. Notice there's a topic I haven't talked about today because I don't want to. I've heard enough about it. I want to talk about fantasy drafting, helping you think about how to draft. You know, in the last few shows, I've talked about making sure you tier your players. How many you put in a tier is up to you. But each tier I have has 10 or more players. I think 10 to 15, other than your top tier, gives you options. Pick from that tier before you go to the next tier. When those tiers are gone, you just whittle on down. And do that at each position. Look at know your league rules, guys. If you don't know your league rules and don't know your scoring system, why are you playing fantasy baseball? I mean, not competitively. Look at your league rules, know what they are, put players in your queue in advance, write out on a piece of paper, get you a chart, tier your players at each position. That's how you win fantasy leagues in 2020. Hey, it's been a great day. Go have one yourself. Expecting snow in Carolina this week. Oh my gosh. Right where I live, they say, here it comes. Right, this little strip. It's going to be right on you. I don't know. We'll see, right? But I've enjoyed this morning. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you soon from Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports.